Hello. So in today's podcast, I'm going to be doing a kind of a triple review. First, I'm going to quickly go through and review Halloween 2018 and then Halloween Kills. My thoughts before this Friday when Halloween comes out. Then I'll be accompanied by my friend Anime D Senpai, who will be watching for the first time the Chucky TV series. We're going to watch the first 2 episodes. Then I have some thoughts about advertisements for what's going on in the world kind of deal. So let's just jump right in. Alright, so I previously did a video where I basically said I was never going to rank the Halloween franchise, which I stick to. Mainly because the storyline is just all over the place. There are like 3 or 4 different routes you can take from different movies. The third movie has really nothing to do with the franchise whatsoever, because that's originally what they wanted to do. But I recently just finished watching Halloween Kills, and I'm actually going to watch Halloween Ends. I was a big fan of Halloween up until, I would say, Halloween Resurrection. It was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't like the whole aspect that they, had Michael Myers going home, and they just made it like sort of a found footage game show type deal. And then he comes in. It's like, okay, even if you were going with the family bit, there's still Laurie's son. Even if Laurie's dead, the son is not. We never learned what happened to Josh Hartnett, I believe is his name, after Halloween H2O. So he's still around. He should have been the next target, not what was it? What's that rapper's name? Anyways, whoever, Busta Rhymes, that's it. Instead of Busta Rhymes being a target, because they're filming inside his home. Yeah, it was a little entertaining, but it wasn't Michael Myers. I also do not like the Rob Zombie ones really at all. They were just way off the rails. But going into this, so I heard everybody say, okay, so this is supposed to take place 40 years after the first movie. And everything else, disregard everything else in the franchise. And I tried to do that. But then as I'm watching Halloween 2018, I'm watching Michael Myers, who basically, it's like The Force Awakens. It's basically just a lot of the same stuff repeating over again, except now Laurie Strode is ready for Michael Myers. She's been prepping for years, which after 40 years, you would think, why the hell would she be so sure he was coming out? I mean, granted, yes, that does happen, but how did she know he was going to come after her? And why is he coming after her if she's not even related? That makes no sense now. They're removing the fact that they're related makes that part of the story make no sense. You could have just had it where, oh, he wants to get home or something. I don't know. There's a lot of plot holes with the Halloween movies and cutting out every other film. So anyways, so yeah, he basically goes from house to house killing people, which he did not do in the original movie. He was after Laurie Strode from the word go. Like, he went and stalked her specifically. The friends left, And he kept going after her. He kept following her, watching her, looking for her. And so that's why, again, the original timeline, the original plot point of having them related actually made some sort of sense. So, Halloween 2018. Before I go any further, there will be spoilers for the previous two movies. So if you have not watched them, you may want to go stop this and go watch them before I spoil the ending. With that said, you've been warned. Okay, so the end of 2018, basically, so Laurie Strode has a house and she turns it into a giant mouse trap just to trap Michael Myers. And then she goes and burns it down. And that's all great and all, but now we move into Halloween Kills. And Halloween Kills, I actually watched, this is probably the most interesting part of this, is I watched this past weekend, which was actually The Hunter's Moon, and there was a song at the end of the movie called The Hunter's Moon, or it sang about the Hunter's Moon, which I thought was very interesting. Quite coincidental, actually. I had no idea when I had planned to do it that that's what was going on until I heard about it on Facebook, and I was like, oh, really? So that was just quite coincidental. And so basically the movie starts off with Michael getting out of the freaking burning house because the fire department decides to come and save him. And instead of like just disappearing like he normally would have done, he massacres the entire fire team. And basically it just goes rampaging even more, trying to get home now. Now all of a sudden he has a goal. He wants to get home. But once again, one of the biggest complaints I've always had when it comes to killers like this is that you have characters who are younger than he is, running at full pace, and he is walking behind them, and he somehow manages to catch up to them. That's insane. That's ridiculous. But basically, the movie comes to an end with Michael killing Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter in the movie. So now the grandmother is probably going to take care of the granddaughter because her daughter is dead. And he massacred like half the town that was there to kill him, because now he's suddenly supernatural and evil because reasons. That's what really doesn't make any sense. Like, they worked so hard to remove the supernatural element and just make him like a crazy psycho killer that went from house to house killing babysitters. But now here at the end of this one, they're saying, oh no, the more, people are evil, the more evil people are around him, the stronger it makes him. So every time you try to hurt him, basically they went the way of Star Wars and said, if you become a Sith, or if you give into the dark side by trying to kill him, you're really making him stronger, which is going to keep him alive so he can kill you. I don't know. That's the best way I can think to describe it. It's stupid. But, I mean, at least, I will say that the cinematography looked good. The effects look good. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they're going to freaking end this, because it needs to end. I honestly would have been much happier with probably a remake that didn't make him just a redneck, bullied kid or bad kid the way Rob Zombie's did. Visually, Rob Zombie's was really nice, but I just didn't care for like the backstory they were giving Michael. And here, they really don't do much to make it any better. Honestly, as much as people hate it, I think 6 was such a good movie because I love that idea that he was a cursed child under the sign of the thorn that was supposed to eliminate the family so this cult could obtain rich and wealth. So, anyways, that is going to end my review. I will be back next time, and I'll probably do a quick review. If you don't care about the original timeline, if you don't care about any of that, then maybe you'll like this. But if you are a big fan of the whole Thorn series, which not a lot of people are, to be honest, then you probably will like this. And you're probably going to love the next one. I just want to see how it ends. Because this will definitely be the last time we get to see Jamie Lee Curtis in any of these movies. I don't think she's going to want to do this anymore. So anyways, now let's move on to my next segment where I'm going to be watching. I've already watched when it premiered, but you have not watched any of these yet, and we're 1 year since it aired, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I saw a little bit of the first episode when it came out, like maybe like a trailer or something or clips. I don't think I saw the whole episode. Pretty sure I didn't. But anyways, yeah, that's my experience with this.
But as you guys have seen on my channel, we have already had him watch and review every Child's Play movie. I might make a playlist after we're done with all these. And by the time we're done with all these, you'll even have like some of season 2 on there, so we can just finish that out. So anything you're really looking forward to seeing in this Chucky TV series?
I wanted to see if like what returning characters there are from the movies, because there were some characters from the movies. Yeah, some movies from the movies. Yeah, sure, whatever. Some characters from the movies that I would like to see return. It's been a while since I've watched the movies, and I'm a bit rusty on my knowledge about Chucky, so I forgotten a lot of details. In fact, I've forgotten many details. So I just would like to see comebacks from characters.
Yeah. I remember your ranking of all the movies. I believe your ranking was that 2 was the best.
Yeah, I think
that ended with Kyle and Andy in the toy factory.
Yeah, that does sound about right. It's been a while since I've thought about it, but yeah.
Okay, so real quick, before we jump into this, we last left off with Chucky can now split his soul into multiple dolls.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
Kyle has Chucky's head somewhere. Let's see. Andy is in a mental hospital where he tried to save Nika, but failed. Now Chucky is in Nika's body. Let's see what else is important before we start. Tiffany is in Jennifer Tilly's body, the actual actress.
That's a twist.
That's from Seed of Chucky.
That was my bottom pick, I think, if I remember correctly.
That was a lot of people's bottom pick when they rank it. You know, the funny thing is I keep hearing. One thing I kept hearing throughout all this is that that Don Mancini has been very careful not to have any remnants of Seed of Chucky in the last 2 Chucky movies or the Chucky TV show. Until this one thing, I won't say what it is, but this one thing happens. But everybody keeps saying Don Mancini was so careful not to use anything of Seed because Universal did not even like Seed being talked about. But here's the thing. Seed is the very movie where Tiffany puts her soul into Jennifer Tilly. That's like the entire plot of that movie.
Yeah,
and they kept going with it. So, I mean, they clearly do keep... I mean, Seed has to be canon. And will never not be canon.
Well, I mean, yeah, it'll always exist, but I'm pretty sure it's one that people like to forget.
Well,
for different reasons.
I don't think they ever will. But we're going to go ahead and jump into this, and we're going to watch the first 2 episodes today. And then next time, when I come back for my next podcast, he'll do the next 2 or 3 or however many he feels up to watching. But we're going to jump into this, and then when we're done, we're going to come back, and he will give his reaction and review of what he thought of these first 2 episodes.
Looking for something to pass the time? Need something good to read or listen to?
To get you ready for Halloween.
Do you like famous slashers like Jason, Freddy, Michael, or Ghostface? Do you wish there was something new and original that you could read on your phone or tablet? Or perhaps you like to grab a scary book and read by candlelight?
Check out these short stories, written by Sean Connaughton. When a mildly abusive man mistreats his bride-to-be on Halloween night, his neighbors decide to teach him a lesson. A lesson he won't soon forget when he finds himself in the witch's hole. And narrated by me, Tara Klein.
A Seattle detective, Scott Grimes, investigates a string of odd murders. But where this case ultimately leads him, he could never have predicted when he crosses paths with the legal murderer. And narrated by me, Brad Letson.
Join the Dunn family as they make their way to a vacation home for a weekend trip. However, when the sun goes down, things seem to get just as dark inside as outside. Stay with the Dunns and see if you can make it through The Mansion. Audiobook narrated by Dylan Poor.
This story follows Sir Godwin as he and a small group transport a lovely princess out of a soon-to-be war zone, and as they travel they must pass through some woods. However, things grow darker and more sinister the deeper into the woods they go, and they find what some believe to only be known as the Legend of Fort Blood. Narrated for you by Angela Strauman.
So, turn out the lights, light a candle, grab your phone or tablet, and download your ebook or audiobook now.
Currently available all year round on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes.
So don't miss out, and grab your copy today.
Alright, so we just finished watching the first 2 episodes of the TV series Chucky. Like I said, I've seen them before. This is your first time watching them. What did you think of the first 2 episodes?
Well, it dived into some things I didn't expect to happen at all. Like, there was like bullying, all this stuff in school. I wasn't expecting like all that stuff. Chucky's first murder with Jake. What was it? Jake's dad.
Yep.
Was pretty well timed. It actually looked like an accident. So it's like, if anyone ever saw that, I mean, if I was coming by, I would have said that's an accident. A careless one, but an accident nonetheless.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't really like the whole him vomiting up. It's not really vomit, it's just like he was holding the whiskey. Actually, I'm kind of shocked it didn't start a fire in the house, too.
Well, maybe a little bit. The second murder though was, I mean, unless if someone's really that clumsy, which I have a hard time believing, that one was clearly intentional, even though he said he didn't do it. But I wonder if his other copies did from the movies.
Well, they say in the show that it happens more often than people think. So, I mean, it's just a matter, I guess, of real life statistics and stuff. So, I guess this will be my first question going into each review. Because this specific character was probably the one that everybody had the most mixed feelings on. What did you think of Lexi?
She was a bitch. At first, I'm not sure if I. Okay, yeah. At first, for like I think she only appeared for like a couple minutes. I thought she was okay, but then there was that class thing. When that like the GoFundMe or whatever it was. I was thinking, okay, this girl's a bitch.
Yeah. And what about now that you've seen what she did at the Halloween party? For a lot of people that were like, nope, that crosses the line. She's not redeemable at all.
Yeah, that was a low blow. That was she wasn't just like mocking Jake, but I mean, if I remember correctly, that was basically her boyfriend's uncle.
Yeah. And you saw the look on his face. Like, he was really upset about it, too. So, a lot of people were, at this point in the show, were like, Lexi gets what she deserves. No matter what happens to her, as long as she dies, they all wanted to see her dead.
She's escaped death, 3 times so far? Once in the classroom, and once, let's see here. Once on the bed, and
at the party.
Yeah.
Jake walked in just in time. So, let's see, what other characters? What do you think of Jake, the main character?
I'm not quite sure yet. I mean, he seems like a pretty cool character. I guess it was kind of interesting the fact that I guess he's gay. So,
well, Don Mancini is gay, openly gay. So
but it's kind of interesting, I mean, it was really kind of fucked up, like how his dad treated him like he was like some abomination. And I know like how some people are against gay, but I mean, if it's your own kid, that's a really harsh thing. So, but I mean, Jake, I'm really curious to see how this whole thing goes for him. I mean, with that, at the end of the second episode, I guess he seems to be going towards like a little Chucky's influence, but I'm not sure how far Jake's gonna go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he kills Lexi, well, that
but doesn't
she'll deserve it.
But doesn't it seem like Chucky's trying really hard to convince him to become a killer? Do you have any thoughts about that?
He's treating it like a sport, and it's a sport like only he and Tiffany really find amusing.
Yeah. We haven't seen her yet, have we?
No, we haven't. We haven't really.
Actually, I'll give you a little bit of something, a little hint. At the very beginning of episode 1, right before Jake walks into frame, when you see the doll, you see a woman in a red coat. That is supposed to be Tiffany.
Oh, damn. Okay.
At the yard sale. She was dropping Chucky off. I don't think they actually go back and show that scene, but Don Mancini has come up and said, yes, that was Tiffany dropping off Chucky in the first episode. So you kind of saw her, you just didn't see her clearly.
Oh. Okay.
Lots of little details. Did you also notice, this is one thing I pointed out when I did my reviews of episode 1 and 2, and I never did the other episodes because I kind of waited for this moment when we were going to do the entire seasons. Did you notice how they kept reusing some of the same lines from other movies?
A little bit. Oh, and now that you ask that question, I think I know why. Because Brad Dorff, that's his name. He's getting old, so he probably doesn't sound the same anymore.
Well, actually, it's not even his lines. Like, right before Chucky, we see actually Chucky being Chucky, moving and talking on his own, not as a puppet. Jake says to Chucky, he says, "Talk. Fine, I'll make you talk." And right when he says that, Chucky punches him in the face. But everything he's saying right up until that very point is exactly what Karen said to Chucky when she was threatening to throw Chucky in the fire. It's like word for word.
Oh.
Yes. Bree, that one part of the second episode I told you to remember, she makes the same comment that this foster father makes, going, "Are we even capable of handling a child like this?"
Oh, yeah, that part. I actually forgot about that part. You did tell me to remember that, but I forgot about it because of all the stuff that was going on.
But those are like exact lines from previous movies. And it's not Chucky's lines, it's other people's lines. I don't know why they did it, but it was an interesting little callback.
Yeah, that's probably exactly why they did it, because it's callbacks.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it kind of seemed forced and out of place to me, being such a huge Chucky fan, knowing these lines, going, why is he copying Karen? Why is he copying the foster father? So, are you definitely going to be looking forward to watching more of this?
Well, Oh, yeah, I almost forgot that I was going to say this. I noticed, like, during the second episode, like, they showed, like, the text on screen, and I noticed that there was, like, kind of similar stuff with other movies, like Creed. It shows, like, their boxing stats. And I was, like, thinking, is this the direction we're going now, where, like, there's physical stuff on screen for this kind of stuff?
Well, it's kind of the easiest way to showcase, someone getting a text without actually panning the camera behind and over the shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. It totally makes sense. I was just like...
Or switching to a POV shot.
It was just unexpected.
Yeah. But are you definitely going to be looking forward to watching the rest of the series?
Yeah, I'm curious to see if I can actually pick up on any of these more callbacks, because I honestly miss them, because I've only seen the Chucky movies, Child's Play, like, once.
Alright.
So a lot of these would probably go over my head, but if I do notice any, well, that would probably be a shock by itself.
Well, maybe in between now and the next time you can watch some YouTube people react to the movies, and that can kind of give you a refresher.
That would probably be a good idea.
Maybe rewatch your your reactions
I was actually
on this channel.
I was actually gonna do that, but I totally forgot about that.
But I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying seeing. I will say that definitely Brad Dourif's voice is starting to sound kind of aged.
I just want to mention one little thing. That whole ventriloquist act that Chucky did was probably the best part of that episode, in my opinion. That was like the first episode, right?
Yep. That was actually inspired by a movie from 1978 called Magic, which starred Anthony Hopkins, who was a ventriloquist who had a living puppet.
Oh, wow.
Which also kind of inspired Child's Play as well. So yep, definitely. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I guess we will get your thoughts more on the next few episodes next time. I think you said we'll either do like 2 or 3 more, so you'll be, if we do 3, you'll be like halfway through season 1 by that point. And even though I think there's 10, like I said, by the time we get through season 1, we should have a few episodes of season 2 already ready for you to watch, so you can be like half into season 2, or might just eventually make it through all of season 1 and 2. They're not very long seasons, so.
They're what, like 8 or 10 episodes?
I believe they're 10 each so far. We're only on, by this Wednesday, we'll only be up to the 2nd episode of season 2.
Are you watching season 2 right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I figured.
So, going back and kind of rewatching season 1 helps me out a little bit, refreshing it. So, I'll probably watch the first episode of season 2 before I watch the 2nd episode of season 2. Oh, what did you think of Lexi's sister?
Oh, her skills as an artist, that was really amazing. I wish I had memory like that, or any skills like that. I mean, she's got talent like her. She's got crazy talent.
I just love the conversation between her and Chucky.
That was.
Mommy's working her way up my list pretty fucking quick.
That was kind of a funny and cute little thing.
So, all right, well, we'll be back with more of that next time then. Anything you got going on your channel before?
I'm just doing. I was gonna try to do weekly chapter things for One Piece, but I decided I'm basically doing something similar to another One Piece reviewer named Murphy. She's doing like once a month, and I figured since I'm actually not that big yet, I figured I'd do once a month too until I get bigger. And I do have a thing where I'm kind of considering doing a thing about season 6 for My Hero Academia. I'm not sure if it's too late for that though. And I'm actually going through the whole thing with Death Note as a side thing. I'm not gonna do anything on YouTube. That's just a side thing. Just get a little reaction.
Well, of all of our previous Chucky reviews, the Seed of Chucky review has the most at 281 as of today. And our review of Cult of Chucky has 157. So, if you do want to check out his thoughts and my thoughts of the previous movies, definitely consider checking out all the former reviews.
Yeah, and I also have my ranks on one of those videos too.
Yeah, I believe it's on Cult. So, but I guess we will talk more about the next few episodes next time then. Alright, so now I'm going to move into my final segment, and Anime D Senpai is more than welcome to chime in with this. But I've really noticed a lot lately. You know, I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't have basic cable. I don't have any cable of any kind. Basic or advanced, or whatever they call it nowadays. And being on YouTube so much, I've come to realize there is a lot of advertisements. First off, the advertisements themselves seem to be in highly increased numbers. Like, I was watching a 15-minute video, and I swear there was like 6 to 7 ads running through the video. I'm like, this is downright outrageous.
Yeah, I haven't really quite experienced to that level, but I mean, I have had in about 15 minutes, I probably had maybe 3 or 4 ads.
Yeah.
And I even see ads that are completely unrelated to me. That's one thing that I heard from another friend. I think it was another friend that told me this. But one thing that YouTube does is it takes into consideration your search history and what kind of stuff you usually watch as advertisements. And I see stuff that is completely off the walls, something that has nothing to do with me.
Well, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is in a previous episode of this podcast, I talked about whether everything in Hollywood is woke. And to that effect, I said no, just because, for example, a movie has a female lead doesn't necessarily make it woke. Now, if she's a female lead and she has to be the hero and can't have men helping her, and the men in the movie are made to look like idiots or stupid, or they're the villains, and she just turns out to be a lesbian on top of it, okay, now you're deep in woke territory if you have to check all those boxes.
Yeah. There's actually another YouTuber I did watch back in the day who would kind of meet some of those criteria. I respect this person's point of view, but he or she, I honestly don't know what the heck to call this person, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. That's the last thing I want to do is be disrespectful.
We don't care about disrespect here.
But anyways, this person talked about woke stuff and says that, I mean, it's just, I mean, it was like in the sense of, you know, like, it's not really necessarily woke from what this person was saying, but I mean, I have to disagree, but I mean, I see where that person's point is.
Well, without going into details, we can't really know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, I can't really remember the topics, but I'm trying to remember what was said as much as possible.
Well, let me go on with what I was saying then. And while you think about it, and let me just say, you know, so I brought that up recently, and I said no. Just because it has a female lead doesn't necessarily make it woke. But one thing I have noticed, and this is quite apparently clear in the ads, and the whole reason this connects to ads is because of the fact it seems that this whole woke agenda is going beyond Hollywood and getting pushed heavily deep into ads. I'm seeing ads for, people announcing that they're, lesbians or gay, or they need help to become trans, or they need to talk to a therapist about this, or, 2 women, buying a car.
Oh yeah, I think
it's just getting ridiculous how this woke agenda has now moved from beyond movies into ads. And you can tell, I mean, me personally, I can read a lot into what I'm seeing on screen. And I can tell you right away, okay, this is pushing woke territory.
I'm not sure if this is bad on that level, but I did see an ad once where there was a woman who was going through a bunch of stuff and basically talking to herself, and she says, "Oh, I think I'm gay." I don't know if you've seen that ad.
Yeah, I have. She's not talking to herself. She's talking to, like, her Siri or Alexia or whatever that thing is.
But yeah, I think, but I don't think it's going on that level. But I have seen that.
I mean, I just saw one recently, and I told you about somebody who's running for office here in North Dakota, who's, what's the term for the left, where they're pro-abortion, basically. She's pro-abortion. Well, whoever you are, lady, guess what? Highly doubt you're going to get elected in this state, because this is a very red state we live in. So you pushing that agenda, and you know what was really bad about the thing is they were showing people with picket signs, and most of them were women, except there was like one guy, and you know what his picket sign said? I'm with her, and with an arrow pointing at the girl. I just nearly laughed so hard at that. Like, you get one guy. You know what? To women's rights, I have to say, and I think everybody who's watched this channel for a while knows exactly what's coming. You want to fight for women's rights? Answer this question. What is a woman?
And also answer this question. What does it mean to have women's rights? Are you trying to be above men? Or are you trying to be on the same level as men?
They just want abortions back right now. That's their big thing. They want abortions back. Which, you know, I'm not going to state where I sit on that, because I'm kind of in the middle. But that is, you know, that is something for women to try to fight. But I don't think that's going to happen here. And YouTube keeps running the same ad like every half hour, I swear. I must get one of those every half hour, like on the half hour mark. It's ridiculous. And like I said, there's just so much woke. And, you know, we're just sick of it. We're so sick of hearing this stuff in movies, and now you're bombarding us with it in ads. If not, it's that kayak ad. That's like the second most ad I probably get the most, thankfully. Which I don't know why, because I don't freaking travel or look up anything for traveling.
Yeah, like some of the ads I see, in fact, most of the ads I see have nothing in common with any of my interests.
Yeah. So that's gonna pretty much close out for this podcast. Before I go, being the topic we were just on, I actually did come up with something recently, and everybody who listens to this, and if you've made it this far, great. Thank you so much for sticking to the end. So I was thinking a lot. You know, I watch Matt Walsh quite almost regularly. And I was thinking about something one night. And I was like, wait a minute. People who are non-binary. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because, well, the term non would mean not. And binary basically stands for two. It's computer lingo for zeros and ones. Which if you break that down, would be male or female. So, not both. So, of course, in that case, I guess everybody in the world, unless you're a hermaphrodite, would be non-binary because nobody is both. You're either male or you're female, right? And then I got to thinking, but here's the most confusing part of this. Every single person that I see on social media or in Hollywood claiming to be non-binary also wants you to use the pronouns they, them. So if they're not both, why would they be two people? If they're not two, why would they be two people? Why would they use a plural pronoun for one person?
It's a paradox.
Exactly. So, that's my closing thought. If anybody else can, maybe comment below, let me know how this makes any sense at all. Because, like I said, non-binary would be not two, which case most everybody in the world would be not two. I'm male, so, I'm definitely not two. I'm not both. I'm not male and female. I think it's just getting way out of hand, as I've said before. So, like I said, let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are. If you've watched Chucky Season 1, let me know your thoughts if you liked it. If you're watching Season 2, hopefully you enjoy that one as much as Season 1. I think it hopefully gets better. I want it to get better and better so we get more of it. But guess that's going to close out this episode, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.